Anyway, he would hold the championship for just a little bit over a month. I think like 31 or 32 days. And then they would schedule a rematch between Cody Rhodes and, well, at the time, between Cody. Oh, no, he was Cody Rhodes this one. Between Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara at Battle of the Belts 1 on January 8th, 2022. You can't comprehend years. But then Cody Rhodes was exposed to COVID-19, so he was forced to withdraw from the match and relinquish his. Well, he didn't have to relinquish his championship, but he had to withdraw from the match, and we didn't know how long he was going to be gone. So during that time period, they created an interim TNT Championship. Okay, why are you standing? You don't have to stand. They created an interim TNT Championship as a result, and they had the match be between Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes' brother, Dustin Rhodes. And they had that match at Battle of the Belts 1. Look up. They had that match at Battle of the Belts 1. Okay? And then Sammy Guevara would beat his brother and go on to win the match and become the interim TNT champion. Which just means temporary, if we're being honest. And then when Cody Rhodes returned, it was announced that he would be facing Sammy Guevara in a unification match at Beach Break, a Dynamite Beach Break, in a ladder match to unify the belts and determine who's the undisputed champion, who's the real champion. Sammy Guevara actually beat Cody. Sammy Guevara beat Cody Rhodes in the ladder match, and Dave Meltzer rated it a 5-star match. It was a 5-star match from Dave Meltzer. It was Sammy Guevara's first 5-star match. It was really cool. I remember watching it live. And then a couple months later, Scorpio Sky would beat Sammy Guevara in a regular match on Dynamite, and he would become the first wrestler to have held the AEW World Tag Team Championship and the TNT Championship. Then Sammy Guevara would pin Scorpio Sky at Battle of the Belts 2 to become the second 3-time TNT champion in AEW. Now, it was crazy because this reign only lasted 11 days. Because 11 days later, Scorpio Sky would beat him again in a ladder match on Dynamite. And then Wardlow, who's this large dude, at the time he was known for doing the powerbomb a lot, where you lift a person up by their legs, and then you slam them on their back. It's pretty cool. He would do this thing called a powerbomb symphony. He would do it a lot of times. And he beat Scorpio Sky in a street fight on Dynamite. And won the TNT Championship for the first time. And then Samoa Joe, who was the Ring of Honor World TV Champion at the time, Samoa Joe's a veteran. He's been doing this for a long time, and he was calling himself the King of Television at the time. He started calling himself the King of Television because he won the World TV Championship and the TNT Championship. And so he was double television champion at Full Gear. So he was calling himself the King of Television. And then Darby Allin on Dynamite would beat Samoa Joe in Seattle, in Darby Allin's home. And he would hold it for just under a full month. And Samoa Joe came back and beat him again in a no-holds-barred match. Which means any move is allowed. It pretty much means no disqualifications or countouts. Which lasted just a little bit over a month, I think like 32 days. And then Wardlow would avenge himself and beat Samoa Joe by submission at Revolution. Now, it's crazy because earlier in that event, there was a Face of the Revolution ladder match where Powerhouse Hobbs became the Face of the Revolution. So he would challenge Wardlow 3 days later and beat Wardlow for the championship in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, this reign would last just a little bit over a month, and Wardlow would come back and rematch and beat him and become 3-time TNT champion on Dynamite. Now, after that, Luchasaurus became TNT champion on the pilot episode of AEW Collision in Chicago. I was there when they announced Collision was going to be a thing. It was crazy. They announced it in San Diego. But Luchasaurus would join Scorpio Sky as one of only 2 wrestlers who have held the TNT Championship and the AEW Tag Team Championships. So I think that's pretty cool. A pretty cool thing to know. And then his teammate, well, his father, Christian Cage, would become TNT champion by defeating Luchasaurus and Darby Allin in a 3-way match on Collision. Luchasaurus kind of gave it up, but and then at World's End, that shouldn't. I don't know if that says right here. I don't remember, but Adam Copeland is this guy who was in WWE. He was known as Edge. He came to AEW under his real name, Adam Copeland, and he became TNT champion by defeating his longtime tag team partner, Christian Cage, in a no disqualification match on AEW World's End. Now, this reign would only last 3 minutes, because after the match, Christian Cage would invoke Luchasaurus's TNT Championship title shot, which Killswitch had. His name is Killswitch, and Luchasaurus' name is Killswitch now at this point, would have won a little earlier in the night to become a 2-time TNT champion. Then Adam Copeland a couple months later would beat Christian Cage in an I Quit match with Spike, which I won't explain what Spike is, you wouldn't understand, but you can't win unless your opponent says I quit. They can't tap, well they can tap, or you can't pin them or count them out. So he had to, and then Adam Copeland had to give it up due to injury.